There are some parents that can go back to sleep after their kids wake them up in the middle of the night. I am not one of those parents. And thus, I'm a tired man today. But we're going to get our way through this thing. Welcome to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. I'm Dan Vespris. Hit that subscribe button. Dear Lord, do me this solid as I crash out mid-podcast, I'm sure. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube. And find me over on Twitter at Dan Vespris as we close in on 30,000 Twitter followers. Today, we are reviewing a large Wednesday. But honest to goodness, I don't think I'm going to make it more than 25 to 30 minutes. So we better cram this thing in fast and make sure we get you guys all the most important stuff in a half an hour and get you back to your day. This show, of course, is brought to you by FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's begin. The Hornets, the Pacers, two teams. Who will lose? It was the Hornets. They're 4-11 now. Woof. Pacers got their second win of the year, though, so, you know. Woo! Ryan Kalkbrenner's a hold. Moussa Diabate had 8 and 12. He's a very good rebound stream with a little bit of defensive stats upside as well these days. And then the thing that we were wondering if it would happen is happening, which is that Con Kneppel is playing really good basketball, even with LaMelo Ball back. So the last starting spot, I don't think Kneppel's going to get benched. My fear is how many of those 20 shots go to Brandon Miller when he comes back. I would not pre-drop Kneppel, as I've said before, but I am a little bit worried about what comes next. But Miller's not back yet, so worry about that when we get there. Over on the Indiana side, Isaiah Jackson had some foul issues early. He did have 4 blocks in 16 minutes, but obviously the 16 minutes are just not enough long term. And this wild back and forth roller coaster ride with Isaiah Jackson continues yet again. You're not picking up Jay Huff, so you don't have to flip-flop those guys, unless Huff got the starting spot. And in that case, then you'd go pick him up. As long as Isaiah Jackson is starting, I think I'm probably going to keep him. But earlier this morning, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl got signed to a standard contract. I told you guys it was going to be a struggle today. So, not that they have to invest in him now, but they are a little bit more invested in him now. Benedict Matherin's come out. He's playing well. He's going to help this team a lot. T.J. McConnell had 14, 6, and 8, but he did it in 14 minutes. So that's going to be a no, meaning Mathurin, Siakam, Nembhard definitely belong on rosters. And then I'm leaning towards giving Jackson one more ball game just to see how this goes night to night. But again, like, the fouls didn't last the whole ball game. Knocked him out a little bit earlier on, and then it was like, you're just not playing that great. So if you want to move on, you can move on. It's not the end of the world. I really don't want I don't want to miss it if Jack never does stick. And it might never happen. We're 3 tries in, and we're only 5 weeks into this season. Toronto beat Philly. No surprises on the Raptors side. No real surprises on the Philly side. Paul George rested this ball game. So with he and Kelly Oubre out, Justin Edwards got a little bit more run, as did Jabari Walker, but nobody cared. Andre Drummond, VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, Tyrese Maxey were the startable guys in this ball game. When Paul George comes back, you just add him to the mix and not remove anyone. When Oubre comes back, then we'll figure out if that squeezes out Grimes or if Oubre himself gets squeezed out. But for now, 4 guys you see at the top of this board: Maxey, Grimes, Edgecombe, Drummond. Those are the guys you start for Philly. Easy peasy. We move on. Houston, again, pretty damn balanced attack coming out of Rockets country these days. Kevin Durant was not very good in this ball game, and they were still fine. Houston was my pick to win the title at kind of decent odds before the season started. The injury to Freddie VanVleet kind of took me off of that a little bit, but Şengün is playing great. Kevin Durant is not even playing all that well yet, and they're still punking people. Now, the Cavaliers obviously are not at full strength, so grain of salt and all that, but Rockets are 10-3. They look great. They look the part. T-Wolves have also kind of figured it out. Not that that's a point, but they looked weird the first week and a half of the season. Now they've been much better lately. Steven Adams got the start in this ball game. They went ultra big. Remember, they're kind of mixing and matching a little bit right now. Tari Eason is out. Amen Thompson got some steals finally, although the blocks and the field goal percent remain weirdly low at the moment. That's why Thompson's number 84 instead of higher. But if you're looking around, like what was different, they went bigger. Twin Towers lineup against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. This is matchup based. You're not picking up Steven Adams, but at least you know that they'll still pull this out of their hat every once in a while. It's also why Reed Sheppard saw less playing time. They wanted to go bigger. You're holding Reed Sheppard. You're holding Jabari Smith. You're not adding any big men that came off the pine for Houston. Cleveland, no changes here either. DeAndre Hunter, keep playing him until Darius Garland comes back. Donovan Mitchell got off to a absolutely insane start. He's slid back a little bit now. He's still number 11, but that 51% field goal is the number that's still going to keep coming down. That's not going to be there all year. That's going to drop him into the second round, which is where we thought he should get drafted anyway, so that's all fine. Evan Mobley is an intense buy low right now. He's number 108 because he's shooting 47% from the field and 60 at the free throw line. And if you're like, how far off is that from what you wanted it to be, Dan? Last year he was at 56 and 73, respectively. So he's way off, but his usage is up. Last year he was at about 13 shots and 4 free throws a game. This year, Mobley, despite the terrible performances, he's up 1 shot and 2 free throws per game. Now, the extra free throws are not good for him, but everything else is pretty much where you'd want it to be, other than are the shots going in, and they're not. And if you're thinking, oh, maybe he needs more Darius Garland, that's a possibility. Having a more point guard to get him the ball. I think we all just sort of assumed that this was going to be a more good but not world-beating kind of year for the Cavs, and that's how it's been so far. But you're not making any real... You're not doing add drop stuff here. Mobley's just a very big buy low. Warriors went zombie mode, so we're just going to skip right over that one because who cares? And if a bunch of guys missed time, there was no Jimmy Butler, no Steph Curry, no Draymond Green. So you got a lot of Brandon Pajemski. You actually got a bunch of Trace Jackson Davis because Al Horford also sat this one out. Moses Moody got plenty of shots, but didn't make them. Buddy Hield decided he was going to get his. Took 20 shots. Quentin Post, Pat Spencer. These all feel like made-up, creative players. Who cares? I don't. Let's talk about the Heat. Bam Adebayo came back. That's a fun story. We got a few guys back yesterday. Adebayo was one of them, and he rendered Kel'el Ware nearly unplayable. Ware luckily had 16 rebounds in this insane up-and-down, nobody-can-hit-a-shot basketball game. That saved him because 19 minutes is not going to be enough. And we're right back into the conundrum that we found ourselves conundruming before Adebayo got hurt, which is, what the hell do we do with Kel'el Ware? He ain't a burger board guy anymore. Shame, too, because he was a 3-burger play while Bam was out. But, man, he goes back to being, if he's top 100, it's barely. Hold on Davion Mitchell. I think he'll be okay. Jaime Jaquez, Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell. Those guys are all starts every day. Jaquez more of a punt threes build kind of guy. But overall, he's been solid enough. We continue with the Denver Nuggets. And Peyton Watson exploding for 32. Hello. No Aaron Gordon, so that obviously freed things up, and you figured that would give everybody a little bit more, and instead it just all went to Peyton Watson. He went real Captain Phillips mode on Aaron Gordon. 32, 12, and 3 with 5 threes. Only one defensive stat, oddly enough, because I had just called him a defensive streamer, and then he wasn't really that. But, so listen, this will be the best game that Peyton Watson has all season. That's a pretty easy call to make. There's no way he's doing better than this anytime the rest of this year. I do think that he's still streamable with Christian Brown out, 4 steals and blocks. I wouldn't expect anything along these lines. Nikola Jokic almost quadruple-doubled with turnovers in yesterday's game. Cam Johnson, 2 decent ones in a row. 14, 3, and 5 with a steal and a 3-pointer. I thought he would get more shots in this game, and then Peyton Watson took all of them. But Cam Johnson has moved himself back into hold territory after really straddling the line, especially once he got hurt. I do not trust Bruce Brown, for whatever that's worth. Trey Murphy had a great ball game. Quietly great ball game. 23, 5 threes, 2 boards, 3 assists, 5 steals, a block. Just a really nice, well-rounded line. But Derek Queen's going to get all the headlines for scoring 30. 12 out of 18 shooting for Queen. Missed some free throws, had a lot of turnovers, but who cares? 9 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Here's the thing. It's looking like the dip we thought was coming might be infinitesimally small, because instead of bringing Zion back into his spot and him having to compete with Yves Missy, it looks like they're just like, screw Yves Missy. He looked like he was going to be the young guy, but they're just like, nah, we don't need to worry about that. So they're moving into a next wave. Zion came back. He played 29 minutes. He'll do more as he settles in. Like, you're not going to see Derek Queen get more offensive stuff than Zion most of these ball games. But regardless, we've kind of covered the gap here on, will Derek Queen have any downtime? And it's looking like the answer is maybe not. You can obviously drop Saddiq Bey. He was a Zion fill-in, so get him the hell out of the way. Although Zion, is this a dub? It's a back-to-back for New Orleans. I think they might have a back-to-back right now. Double checking. No. Back-to-back is coming up Friday, Saturday. So Zion will probably sit one of those. We just don't know which one. So that's why he's got that questionable tag here on the Basketball Monster page. So Zion, obviously, you're holding. If you wanted to hold Saddiq Bey to see if you could squeeze one good game out of him in this upcoming back-to-back, that's fine for head-to-head. Herb Jones, I think, is probably droppable. I've said that most of this week. It just doesn't feel like there's any real upside there. And that's your New Orleans Pelicans. I'm not going to do any promo on today's show. I'm too tired, honestly, to tell you to do anything for me. I don't feel like I deserve it today. I will, however, please request that you like and subscribe. And if you're listening after the fact, please rate the podcast 5 stars on Spotify or iTunes. It does help. I haven't done the thing where I ask you to do it in a while, but I guess I can do that today. That's a quick promo. And then, of course, this show is brought to you by FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook, a proud presenting sponsor of us here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Let's keep going because, again, I want to get through this thing in 25 minutes before I conk out on air. Sacramento stinks, but this is a game that they were definitely going to lose anyway because OKC is really good. Dennis Schroeder has decided to just take all the stuff coming off the bench, but he's so inefficient that he's still not useful in 9-cat. He is fine in punt field goal formats. Zach LaVine has come crashing down to earth. I mean, this team's just such a disaster. I think you should pick up Keegan Murray because, well, everybody else is terrible. So they're going to have to try something. DeMar's number 72, and he's the highest-ranked king in fantasy basketball right now. And he wasn't particularly good in this ball game either. Russ had 7, 11, and 6 with 3 steals, but he shot 3 out of 7 from the field and 0 for 2 at the free throw line, and all of that stuff has sort of come into the mix over the last 3 weeks when Russ has been playing more. 31 minutes a game, he's number 121 in 9-cat because he's just a points league guy. That's who he is. 15, 8, and 8. And he's not inside the top 120. If you're punting, 1 or 2 of the things he's bad at, we've had this discussion before. I don't feel like doing it again. But look, Russell Westbrook, points league guy, or possibly a double punt guy. I do think that he probably suffers a little bit with Keegan Murray coming back. In this ball game, there was no Domantas Sabonis, so Drew Eubanks got the start. He wasn't very good. Precious Achiuwa also slid in there and got a start. He was slightly better, but also not a huge needle mover. You're holding DeRozan, you're holding LaVine, you're obviously holding Sabonis. Russ in a lot of formats you're holding for now. Schroeder in 1 or 2 builds you're holding. And then again, I'm picking up Keegan Murray because I think they're almost going to have no choice but to play him once he's healthy, healthy. Because everybody else is terrible, so you got to try something. Cason Wallace left this ball game. There was some injury stuff kicking around, but it sounds like he's fine. So that's a minor bullet dodged. AJ Mitchell is still streamable with Alex Caruso is back with Aaron Wiggins and Jalen Williams both still out. So Shea, Chet, Hartenstein, Kaysen and Mitchell. I am not playing Lou Dort. That's all you need to know about the Thunder. Told you guys, we're doing this one quick, man. Only actionable items today. You guys might want me to start doing shows like this more often. We're going deep dive free today. Although I do want to get a buy low show out at some point, either later on today or maybe I'll drop it first thing tomorrow morning. Bilal Coulibaly shot the ball well, and that's going to be the thing. That's going to determine whether or not he has 9-cat fantasy value this year. He's number 133 right now, limited sample size, but 42-75 splits. He's going to have to be a little bit better than that, or he's going to have to put up a lot of counting stats. I think he does belong on rosters, so make sure Bilal's added. And then we just kind of have to wait and see. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think CJ McCollum needs to be rostered in straight 9-cat. Punt field goal, probably. But even that's kind of iffy. He's number 158 on the year, while shooting 39.5%. So that's probably part of it. Marvin Bagley got the start for Alex Sarr. I mean, I guess if we found out that Sarr was going to miss another ball game, it's good to know who has first crack at it. Although it still kind of feels like Vukcevic could potentially take half of those minutes, and he has the more interesting fantasy game than Bagley. But, whatever. We got the data point. That's probably the most important thing here from this one. I'm not going to tell you to go out and pick up Marvin Bagley. I am going to put him on the injury replacement board just in case Sarr misses another one. Over on the Minnesota side, Naz Reid has really picked it up over the last weekend change. He's pushed himself inside the top 90 with this heater. That's good. Get off to a terrible start this year, and he's kind of salvaged it now. That's good. So if you had Naz Reid, remember about a week and a half ago, we were telling you to panic hold. I know you're panicked, but hold. And then he suddenly got better, so that's fortunate. Otherwise, no big surprises here. Julius Randle continues to be pretty unbelievable. He's number 16, so he's slowly dropping, but not nearly as fast as we thought. The free throw, the field goal, all that stuff is going to come crashing down for Julius, but his usage is insanely high right now, so try to sell high or ride it out, whatever you got to do. Do what you got to do. Dante DiVincenzo inside the top 75. That's good. He was on our boards this year. Where was Dante? He got pushed up to 119 at the end. Yeah. What do we got? Getting text messages. I can't focus even without any distractions right now. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people function when they're not sleeping all that well. Jalen Brunson came back. So he and Zion and who was the other one? Bam. We had 3 guys come back yesterday. Woo. Good news day. Took guys off the injury board. That's the bad news part of it, but whatever. So sorry, Khalil Ware. And sorry, Miles McBride / Jordan Clarkson. I mean, how badly did you want to be using those guys anyway? Not really. Anyway, get rid of them. See ya. Landry Shamet started for OG Anunoby, but Josh Hart is the real winner there. He's got the more well-rounded fantasy game. He's the glue guy. So Hart's been in a really good spot. And he was ramping up anyway, but the OG absence has pushed him up the board a lot faster. And after a terrible first week-ish, week and a half, Hart's been top 80 over the last 6-7 ball games, and that'll definitely play. Derik Lively finally had a decent ball game. His minutes are up to 18 now, which, again, that's not enough. But we're getting there, little by little. The problem there is that Daniel Gafford now pushed to the bench. He was at 24 and a half minutes yesterday. If he gets 24 and a half minutes, I would continue to play Daniel Gafford. I just don't know if he's gonna. Dallas is looking ahead to a Friday-Saturday back-to-back. So Lively will probably sit one of those ball games. We don't know which one, but more than likely he won't play both, meaning with Anthony Davis still out, Daniel Gafford would be an easy call in one of those games. I think if I had to make the decision today, which I don't, but if I did, I would play Gafford in both. I don't know if I'm ready to play Lively yet. I think I need to see him get over 20 minutes first. Najee Marshall played well. He had 23 points in this game, but you're not picking him up. D'Lo played well. He had 23 points, 7 assists in this one, but you're not picking him up. Brandon Williams has a terrible shooting game. He got in foul trouble early, came back late, continued to not shoot the ball well, had a buzzer beater waved off due to an offensive foul. It was a whole thing. Basically, I'm at the point where I don't think I need to roster either of the Mavericks point guards. It feels like Brandon Williams and D'Lo are just going to keep trading off. Brandon's certainly the safer of these cats, but over the last 2 weeks, he's number 144. So even with the bigger playing time, it hasn't been enough. Gafford is a go. Lively is a let's wait a little bit longer until his minutes get over 20. PJ Washington is a play, and then you just have to hope that his percentages don't continue to be this awful. And that's probably it right now. Chicago got a game winner from Vooch. I think it's his second this week. He's quietly fallen off after a very hot start to the year. He's having a good week, but he's number 53, which percentages are more like in line with his career numbers after a crazy season last year. Kobe White off to a very nice start for Chicago. 25 points, 7 assists in this one. He looked good. Josh Giddey was not as good in this game, but he'll be fine. So White, Giddey, Vooch. You're starting Bazelis. He put up big numbers in 19 minutes of this game, but, they just sort of mixing and matching a little bit. Weird, honestly, just weird playing time all the way around. You could drop Ayo Dosunmu. You can drop Kevin Huerter. I know that this may ultimately be dumb of me, but I'm holding Trey Jones until I see what his job looks like with Kobe White around, who, by the way, Kobe's probably going to sit one of the two upcoming back-to-backs for Chicago, so that would be a reason to hold Trey Jones anyway. And I guess then I hope he plays. That's the other part of it. If he doesn't play, we're not going to get that data point anyway. If Trey Jones and Kobe White sit one of these upcoming back-to-backs, then you could probably drop Huerter or Dosunmu back in your lineup, but I wouldn't. I with those two guys, Huerter and Dosunmu, I don't know that I'd hold on to a roster spot for it. I don't think it's that important, especially if there's somebody else out there that you like more. No Drew Holiday once again for Portland. And, you can see it. They very nearly won this game anyway, but they did it by getting to the free throw line and then unfortunately missing a lot of them. But they just haven't shot the ball well without Drew Holiday. Avdia did his best with a big triple-double, but biffed it at the foul line. Come on, Denny. So close to a world-beating kind of ball game. He's been great this year, though. I can't complain about Denny. Donovan Clingan's had a couple of good ball games in a row. He had a 5-block game, and in this one, he went for 17 and 21 on full starters minutes, and that's the damage he can do when he's not limited to 24, 25 minutes in a ball game. Clingan is at 25 and a half minutes right now, and he's top 55 in 9-cat. So, again, this is what we talked about. It's why he was a guy that we reached for and got him in the 70s and 80s. Even at the end, at the beginning of draft season, you could get him in the 90s or 100 range. Those were sweet times. But if his minutes ever do creep up to 27, 28, something like that, you're looking at a guy that could be a top 40 fantasy play. That's why. Jeremy Grant shoved his way back inside the top 100 with a big ball game. Congrats to Jeremy. You have a sell high window once again. There was no Shaden Sharp in this game. If you're wondering why City Sissoko got into the starting 5, it's also why Clingan had 13 shots and Grant 18 and Kamara 15. And I'm getting a lot of I'm sick of Toumani Kamara's, and I get it, but I think that just means that you're looking at his rank because everything other than his shooting has been pretty good. I'd like the steals to be a little bit higher than 1.1 in 35 minutes a game, and I think they do probably at some point tick up, but his usage is up. That's the thing we wanted. We wanted the 11, 12 shots a game. Now we just need him to not shoot 39%, because then all of a sudden, 44, 45%, if he gets back into that range, you're talking about, that's like an extra, almost 15% over what he's doing right now. That's a big difference maker. Extra 2 points a game, half a 3 ball. More steals is going to hopefully come with it. You wipe out the big negative on field goal percent. Hang in there, guys. Have faith. It's mostly that damn field goal percent that's being a pain in the dinkle so far. Yeah, that's right. I said dinkle. What are you going to do about it? I talk to my kids a lot. All right, we did it. 25 minutes before Dan fell asleep. This was a quick one. I don't think this was one of my best shows, but hopefully it got you guys through the big Wednesday card. If we were going to go back and try to figure out kind of what the main takeaways were for this one, I'd probably go, all right, here, let me give you the lightning round. Colin Sexton's a drop. Diabate is a board stream with some defensive stats. Kalkbrenner hold. Isaiah Jackson, I'm going to hold him for one more ball game. Not adding Huff, not adding McConnell. Edgecombe was due for a bounce back, so that little buy low is gone. You might be able to sell high in a game or two. Reed Shepard hold. Mobley's a buy low. That might be the biggest news to take out of yesterday's game. Ignore the Zombie Warriors. Bam, Zion, and Brunson all came back. Killel Ware's in trouble. Peyton Watson is probably more of a defensive streamer, even though he put up the big numbers. Cam Johnson has pushed himself back into hold territory again with 2 decent ball games in a row. Derek Queen, awesome. Herb Jones is probably more of a volume guy. Sadiq Bey's a drop. Russ, points league or double punt. I'm adding Keegan Murray. Hold on Cason Wallace. Hold on AJ Mitchell. Add Bilal Coulibaly. Marvin Bagley's a potential burger board stream. Goodbye, Deuce McBride. Goodbye, Jordan Clarkson. Goodbye, Landry Shamet. Goodbye, both Mavs point guards. I'm sick of that nonsense. Still starting Daniel Gafford. I'm not quite ready to start Derek Lively in Roto, but you can get him going. Pull him out of your IL spot in head-to-head. He's probably about that enough. I'm holding Trey Jones to see what he's like, but the other fringy guys can all be dropped. And honestly, maybe you could buy low on Toumani Camara. I didn't even think about it from that standpoint. I don't know what it would take to get him, but that would probably be the last marker on the quick hitters version. All right. Hey, 3 superstars came back yesterday. That's good news. NBA has been pretty beat up so far this year. I'm Dan. I didn't sleep last night, but we made it. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. Hit it. Come on, man. There's literally thousands of you that watch this, so I know we can do more than like 60 likes. Let's get a little higher. Can we clear 100 today? Do it to it, Lars. Yes, I am going to say I do have the 99-cent YouTube membership, but I do not deserve it today. I am gorked out. However, if you want to ask me questions on videos, that's the way to do it. So sign up for the 99-cent membership, post some questions. I'll probably see it. I guess you could cancel it down the line, but I hope you won't, because who's going to miss 99 cents? Not you, I hope. I'm Dan Besbris on Twitter, DanBesbris. I'm going to actually try to exercise to see if that wakes me up a little bit. Buy Low show coming at some point. Check out Thunder Dan's Cut List show that dropped earlier this morning on our YouTube channel. And with that, all Dan's morning on Old Man Squad is done. See you guys soon.